Good day, everyone. The much requested video on calculating scale is now. So, we have all seen a map before. And if you look at a map, you know it's not the full-size version of the country or the city or the province. It's shrunken down. And what scale represents is how many units on the map are in real life. Now, if you look right here, this spot right here, that's scale. And it's going to tell me the distance in kilometers. Okay, since we're in Canada, we look at kilometers or meters or centimeters, not in miles. So we can measure the distances between these places and find out roughly how far apart they are for each other. But the first thing we need to do is create a ratio. Okay, so you'll need to have a ruler. And I'm just going to put the ruler down right on the 0. Okay, so if you look at, here's the 0 and the 0 on my ruler. And if I look here, this is 1 centimeter and it lines up with 200. All right, so my scale will be 1 centimeter on the map represents 200 kilometers in real life. Okay, so map or model. And the second part is real life. Now, I'm just going to show you quickly. This is, I can see that I need to zoom out a bit. This is my model of a Lamborghini Murcielago Roadster. And you're probably wondering, why am I showing my toys? Well, when I bought it, it came in this box. And in this box, you will see this number. The number 1 to 18. That's a scale. That's telling me 1 centimeter in 1 centimeter on the car represents 18 centimeters in real life. And I know that because I've been measuring. So sometimes they'll just put the numbers and you have to wonder, well, what are they measuring in? But in this case, it's 1 centimeter on the model. So on the model of the car represents 18 in real life, because obviously you've seen cars and cars are not this small. So they wanted a scaled down version. So that's what scale is. It's taking something, a model, something small, and comparing it to it in real life. And you might have to do this if you decide to go, say, in architecture or engineering, designing buildings and things. You will have to scale down your picture because no one can ever draw a real life object such as a car or a building because it's just way too big. So I'm going to show you a couple examples here on how we calculate scale. Okay, So I'm going to use this map for a little bit here. 1 centimeter on the map represents 200 kilometers in real life. So I'm going to just pick 2 places here. Let's measure from Los Angeles to, oh, the map cut off what city I wanted, but that's okay. Los Angeles to St. Louis. Okay, so on the map, you'll see a little round dot for where the places are. Now I'm going to measure. I'm going to go from, have the 0 line up on the dot and measure to St. Louis. Now what I'm going to ask you guys to do is round off a bit. Okay, so this is about 10.5 centimeters. But for the sake of easy calculation, we're just going to go for 10. Okay, so what this shows me my scale, 1 centimeter on the map represents 200 kilometers in real life. So if I have 10 centimeters on the map, how many kilometers will I have? Well, the question is creating an an equivalent ratio. So what did I do to 1 to get 10? Well, we multiplied it by 10. So I'm going to multiply 200 by 10. And my answer is going to be 2,000. So the distance from LA to St. Louis is about 2,000 kilometers. Okay, now if you're using different maps with different scales, the rough distance should be the same. So if I had a different map of the United States and I calculated the distance between LA and St. Louis and say I had 5,000 kilometers, well, that answer would be wrong because the distances between places do not change. So the distance from Saskatoon to Prince Albert, say, is 120 kilometers. No matter what map you use, you should be getting around 120 kilometers because that distance doesn't change. Okay? Let's do another example. Okay, so we've used Los Angeles. How about we go Las Vegas to Fargo. All right. Now the key to this is measuring accurately. Now if you notice on the ruler here, the very edge does not start at 0. The 0 starts where the 0 is. So when I'm trying to measure, my 0 should line up with the dot. And then we move up to the other dot. Okay, so about 8 centimeters. Now some of you will be able to just do this in your head real quick, but if you're still kind of confused, always go back to the original ratio. 1 to 200. So I measured 8 centimeters. So I multiplied 1 by 8 to get 8. So I'm going to multiply 200 by 8 to get 1,600. Okay, and this is represented in kilometers. So 8 centimeters on my map represents 1,600 kilometers in real life. So the whole thing about scale is being shrunken down. Okay, now I've got another map here that we'll look at just because it has a different scale. Lo and behold, maps have different scales. They're different sizes. So you always have to find the scale. And right here, here's my scale. It's telling me 1 centimeter on the map represents 150 kilometers in real life. So I have London, England here. And I am going to see how far London is away from Krakow in Poland. Okay, and you see the little dot, kind of a non-shaded in circle, that's showing me where the place is. Oh, glad I did that. If you notice on your ruler, you have 2 sets of measurements, okay? The inch, which is an American measurement, and the centimeter, which is a measurement the rest of the world uses, okay? So let's measure from London to Krakow. Okay, so that's about 8 centimeters. So doing my work here, my scale has changed. It is now 1 centimeter on the map represents 150 kilometers in real life. So now I measured 8 centimeters. And how much is it going to be in real life? Now, good news, you could use a calculator for this if you wish. My calculator is on my phone, which I'm filming with, so I'll just do some quick multiplication. Okay. 0. So 1,200. So it's about 1,200 kilometers. Okay. Now, if you check this answer out on a real map and that, maybe my distance is wrong, but I'm using the scale given to me, all right? So from London to Krakow is about 1,200 kilometers. So on this scale, 1 centimeter represents 150 kilometers. All right, let's do one more example on this one. Berlin, capital of Germany, to, this is Bucharest, down in Romania, the capital of Romania. So we're measuring, make sure your zero's lining up with Berlin. And then we go to Bucharest, which is about 7 centimeters. So using my scale, 1 centimeter is to 150 kilometers. I have 7 centimeters I measured on the map, and that'll be how many kilometers in real life. So I've got 150 times 7. Now, if I did my multiplication wrong, be sure you put that on the comments there. So that's 35, we got 3, so we got 1,050. So the distance is 1,050 kilometers. All right. And one more. And the reason I'm showing you these maps is to show you that every model or every map will have a different scale. Okay, now this scale here, and I don't want to be zooming in too much because I'll be having to change it all the time. I'm going to measure here, and it shows me that 1 centimeter is right here. So 1 centimeter on the map will be the same as 5 kilometers in real life. Okay, so this is a little island called the Isle of Man. And you can see it's in between the United Kingdom and Ireland. So let's do a quick measurement here. Douglas, that looks like a big place. So we're gonna measure from Douglas to, let's go up to, I can't even read that. Channel, Crystal, something. Okay, so between these 2 points. Now guess what the paper can do? I can turn it so that I can measure it way more easier than try to reach over it. So I'm gonna put my 0 on the dot, and it's pretty close to the 5. So that's 5 centimeters distance. So remember, our scale has changed. 1 centimeter on the map represents 5 kilometers in real life. So I measured the distance between those 2 points as 5 centimeters, and I'm going to multiply 5 times 5, so I have 25 kilometers. So the distance is actually 25 kilometers. So you're just making essentially equivalent ratios. You're measuring. You're first of all finding out what is the scale, and then doing some calculations. Okay? Now, on our assignment booklet, always look, and I'll raise this up a little bit so we could see. It'll tell you what the scale is. Okay? And right down there, 1 centimeter represents 50 centimeters. Okay? Right here, there's a scale. There's the scale. I'm gonna show you one of the pages because it's gonna trick you comparing maps at different scales. So you're looking at a map of Canada here. Distance between Toronto and Windsor. Remember when I was talking about 2 minutes ago about the distance between Saskatoon and PA? Well, that distance should be relatively the same no matter what the scale is. So if you're measuring the distance between Toronto and Windsor on this map, it should be pretty close to the same distance between here. So if it's 800 kilometers on this map, it should be roughly 800 kilometers here. Now, you don't have to be too exact in the measuring. Round off to the nearest whole number, okay? Lastly, I'm not sure, I can't remember if I included this page or not, but if you have this, choosing the best route, you don't have to do this one, okay? And I think I left it out, but I'm not 100% sure. So that's another, holy smokes, 18 minutes of mathematical thrill ride of scale. So hopefully you watch parts of it. Remember, you can rewind, fast forward, don't watch it, but scale is tricky. So thanks again, everyone, and have a good day or evening or morning.